All right, guys, today we are talking about just some tips to really work through the resistance you feel, especially when you're reprogramming your self-concept and love, and when you're manifesting a dream life when your 3D reality is literally feels like it's going backwards or it's doing the fucking opposite or there's absolutely, you feel like there's no movement at all. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. Hey everyone, my name is Kim Velez. I am a conscious life and success coach, a former trauma therapist, and literally I am here to help uplift and impact millions of people all over the world so that they know their worth and value and can manifest the life of their fucking dreams. So if that sounds good to you, please like, share, and subscribe because we need to get this message out to the entire world. Everyone needs to understand how they can reprogram their mind and really create a beautiful, beautiful, easy, pain-free fucking life. I know when I was reprogramming my self-concept, because in case you don't know, if you're new here, I grew up in foster care. I had a lot of limiting beliefs around my worth and value in my love life. And I really manifested in not great relationships, and really the woman I was in all those relationships didn't know her worth, felt insecure, didn't feel good enough, was waiting for the shoe to drop, and would really create a lot of pain and not fun experiences in her love life. And then I figured out once I came across Neville that it isn't just about manifesting the specific person or even when you manifest a new love, because if I didn't change how I saw myself and change my identity of who I am in my love life, I would continue the same cycle because that's literally what I did. So I manifested in tons of SPs back, giving me what I wanted, but then I would, recreate the cycle because the minute I got triggered and felt insecure in love, I would just manifest the same bullshit over and over. And then, like I said, when everything clicked for me, that's when the turnaround happened for me. And this is why the power of identity shifting is amazing. It's like the key, it's the golden ticket. Because then when you're changing your stories of your love life, a specific person, a new person, love, money, who you are in the world, how the world sees you, I mean, in any area of your life, it's so easy to do when your self-concept says, well, this is who I am in that area, right? Like, I am powerful, I am knowing, I am the best, right? And you really know that and believe that I am worthy of this amazing life that I'm creating for myself. It doesn't feel like you can't have it because your self-concept, your new self-identity that you have chosen for yourself says, oh no, bitch, you get to have this because how good you feel about you. So a lot of times when we're reprogramming the mind, right, this is where we feel a lot of resistance. So I really understood what resistance was many years ago, and I really explained it very well, and I'm going to keep explaining it the way I understand it because it just makes sense because nobody else was explaining it correctly. It was like I still never got, what is resistance? It's a bad feeling. Well, no shit, Sherlock, but why am I feeling it, right? Well, this is what happens when we start saying, I want this new life, and we start focusing on different circumstances that we desire, or we're changing our self-concept and love. The resistance that we feel when we're saying the new thoughts, when we're thinking the new thoughts, when we're visualizing, whatever you're doing, right? The dominant feeling is usually it feels resistance, which means I don't accept it. I still accept my old limiting beliefs more than I accept the new story because you don't believe it yet. It isn't programmed enough in you yet. You haven't tried it on enough. You haven't embodied this new version of you, right? You don't know, you don't feel like you have really tapped into that version of you living that life of your dreams. So it still feels far away. You still feel really disconnected. You don't believe in it. You still believe more in the old you and the old story, which is what the resistance is. It's literally your old story versus your new story, and boom, they clash. And the one that you resonate with the most is the one that feels more real to you, which is typically our old programming because it's who we've known ourselves to be the longest. And then our brain, because it is a record keeper of the past and super habitual, all it knows is like, well, wait, in love, this is what happens. In love, this is who you are. In love, this is the right. In money, this is what happens. this is who you are in relation to money. This is your story of money. Look at all these painful experiences around money, right? So it remembers those things, and that's been your experience. So then that's what you're cued into. It's like, no, 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 this is the truth. And so we're overriding that. So that's what the resistance is. So some of the ways to help around that, because it doesn't feel good and we don't like it. And a reason why a lot of people give up is they don't understand what they're doing. They're trying to get something rather than be something. And then they're not reprogramming enough, right? They haven't done enough where they're actually buying and believing that, hey, I am worthy of this. And when you know you're worth something, then it's very easy for you to believe and know, well, if I'm worth this, then that means I can have it. Like your brain will automatically connect the dots to that new reality you want and be like, duh, of course you can get it. So then it doesn't seem like a far fetch. It doesn't seem so fucking far away. And you believe in your future more than you believe in your past. So that's what we want to do to get around the resistance so that we can become that, right? And that's what transformation is about. You're transforming your inner belief system into a new belief system. You're transforming your self-identity, your self-concept into this new story. You're transforming your story of love. You're transforming your story of money. You're transforming your fucking life, right? And through self-concept is the easiest, most powerful way to do it, where it's actually sustainable and it hurts less and you deal with less resistance. So some of the things that you can do is really, do the affirmations. I think those really help, because when you make a statement like I am, you can do that too, and you can still feel the resistance and still manifest what you want, still override it. Just giving you ideas to play with and try on yourself. But when we say I am this and it is not a fact for you, you do not believe it, you don't buy it, your subconscious mind, your brain, who you've been, automatically rejects it. So it's like an inner fight within you. So some of the things you can do to really just kind of help supporting yourself shift out of that is do the affirmations, right? So instead of saying like, I am worthy of this, or I am SP's wife, or I am so easy to love. If we don't know that as our truth and we don't believe that, when we say that, 9 times out of 10, you will feel that resistance and it doesn't feel good. So what you could do instead was say, well, what if this time I did know my worth and value? What if this time things are different? What if I actually do get the love that I really want and desire? What if this time SP can change and be different with me? What if the next person I'm manifesting in is the relationship of my dreams? What if I actually did have the relationship of my dreams? You see what I'm saying? You're asking your brain a question, you're posing it a question, and then most of the time the brain won't fight against it because you're just posing a question like, well, what if this time it was different? Because we know there is a possibility that things can be different the next time around or in our future, right? We're not saying this is who I am right now or this is happening right now, right? We're saying, well, what if it does happen this way? What if it is easy? What if it's, coming in quicker than I expected? What if this time is the magic number and that's it, I'm good, right? What if this time I actually know my worth and value and I'm loved, wanted, and chosen? What if this time I get the main idea that generates me lots of money? What if this time money is really easy for me to receive? What if in the next year, my whole life is exactly what I've been wanting? What if by this time next year, I have my athletic dream body? What if this time by next year, I'm in the fucking relationship of my dreams with the partner of my dreams? What if this time next year, I am booked out so much in my business that I have a wait list of 100 people? What if this time by next year, I have X amount of dollars in the bank account? I mean, if you're posing these questions, it can feel so much easier and acceptable because you're like, one, the timing, a year is not far away. What a lot of people do with time is they mess it up because I have to check myself sometimes with this too when it comes to time, because even like right now, it's September 16th when I'm filming this video. So my brain is going to, oh my gosh, by the end of the year, you're going to have all these goals done, right? And looking at like, if it's in 3 months, I have to get all this done. And so what I did, I was feeling a lot of resistance with some of that. So what I did was I pushed it out and said, okay, instead of worrying about what happens in the next 3 months, what if I just focus on within the next year, this time next year, here's everything I want to come in. Because in that moment, I'm still focusing on what I want, but it's easier for me to be, I'm in a better state because I don't feel so much pushback with some of the things when I'm saying it has to happen before 3 months versus, within a year. So these are things to play with it. Now, some of you say, yeah, but then you're going to manifest it a year later. I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to give a fuck if you get $1 million in 3 months or if you get it in fucking 7 months, okay? The point is you're moving your internal world into the version of you that can receive what they want instead of being in the version of you that knows they don't have what they want and is trying to fucking make it happen. There's a big difference of who you're being. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest who the fuck you are. You'll manifest in your thoughts, but you won't keep it, and you'll stay stuck in a reality over and over again where you're manifesting in the same patterns until you change you. So the whole game is about changing your inner state. And asking the affirmations is a really easy tool to trick your mind into focusing on the outcome you want, by saying the outcome you want, but forming it in a question. So there's less fight in you, there's less resistance in you, which is about you being in a state of receiving and allowing. Because this is what a lot of you don't get with manifesting, is you think that I'm going to affirm 900 million times a day to get what I want. But you're not the version of you that can actually even fucking receive what you want, because you're still the old version of you, and you're affirming 800 million times because you're trying to make something happen, which means I don't fucking have it, which means I'm not in a state to receive it. I hope it's clicking. Please tell me this is clicking. If none of this is clicking or it's starting to click slowly, you should be joining me in my weekly coaching group to reinforce this shit so you can start transforming and manifesting and getting shit you want. It's so fun in there. We meet every week. I have a texting support group in there for you guys to text each other in the group. You get access to the replays. We do a lot of activations in there, guided visualizations, coaching. I mean, it is just amazing every week. Imagine how different your life would be in 3 months if you were working on this shit and have the ongoing support every single week. Imagine that. Imagine you in 3 months. Okay. Another way to work around resistance is really focusing on self-concept, right? A lot of people get stuck in, well, I don't know what to do. What's inspired action versus, action? And how do I know if I'm forcing 3D? Well, your job should be, if I had what I wanted, if I had the $1 million, if I felt fully supported in my life, if I was living in my dream reality, if I had the body of my dreams, if I was in the relationship of my dreams, right? You would be someone different than the person of you that doesn't have it. Because the reason why we don't have the things in our reality is, one, the 3D just hasn't caught up yet, right? Or we're really not dominantly yet the version of us that is receiving it. We're not matching that reality, so that's why it still hasn't come in yet. So your job, instead of trying to figure all that out, is just to get you right. And by getting you right, it's really focusing on your self-concept. Well, if I were someone who identified as someone who's confident, secure, in the relationship of her dreams, how different would I be than the person who's not? Well, the person who's not, if they're not happy, everyone's different. Some people are happy not being in a relationship. I am, for one. I'm happy either way. But it's really looking at, what is the story? What is the difference in you? If you don't have what you want, what's different in you when you do have what you want? And then some of you will push back and say, yeah, but I don't know what that feels like. Well, then why do you want a relationship? If you don't even have a clue that your dream life, like, why do you want the things you want? You want the things and experiences you want because you believe it's going to do something for you. Obviously, that's a feeling. It's going to make me feel free. I'm going to feel loved. I'm going to feel wanted. I won't feel alone. Like, I'll feel rich. I'll have options. I'll feel like I have power. So those are all fucking feelings. So there you go. There's the answer. So that's how you figure it out. But you're just tapping into the version of you that is on the other side of it. She's different. She already knows how she got everything, so she doesn't worry about the how because she already has it. So if you're worrying about the how, then you're not being the version of you that already has it. So you really have to practice stepping into that by changing your self-concept, doing an identity shift. I know for me, when I wanted to lose weight, I changed my self-concept because I did the process where I did all the different things, whether dieting or even just saying affirmations about my body, or changing how I ate, or even exercising, and it didn't last. I did this all the way until like my 30s, And I would do yo-yo stuff and go up and down and gain weight and lose weight and gain weight and lose weight and gain weight and lose weight. And what it was is because I didn't change my self-concept. I kept saying, okay, if I do X, Y, and Z, then I will get the thing. And I got the thing. And then I would go back to my true story of me, because we always end up being what our identity is. And my identity for all those years was not an identity that said, this is my lifestyle. I take care of myself every day. I have a fit, lean, strong body every day. I didn't have that story. So what I did was, I want to lose weight. I want to have my body look like this. And then I would follow the diets and the workout plans that got me the results, but I didn't change my story. I didn't change my identity. So then I went back to my old identity, and I did this over and over and over and over. Same thing with people quitting smoking and drinking and things like that. Like, we have an identity. I know, because I did all of the above too. I used to smoke and then I quit. And it wasn't until I decided that I changed my identity. I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker. I'm healthy. Healthy people don't smoke cigarettes. And so instead of being the version of me that said, oh, I'm trying to quit, because then in my mind, my self-identity is, I have not quit, therefore I still am a smoker. So I would argue with myself in my mind. I would negotiate. I would, make excuses and do things that someone who's trying to quit does. Someone who is a smoker does. And then I would end up smoking cigarettes. And it wasn't until 1998 when I finally quit smoking cigarettes for good, and I changed my self-concept, and I said, you know what? I don't smoke anymore. I am a non-fucking smoker. I am healthy, and healthy people don't smoke. So then for me, I supported that by reinforcing that self-identity every day, because then I didn't argue with myself. Because if I don't smoke, then me wondering if I should go buy this pack of cigarettes right now didn't even enter my head, because I'm someone who doesn't smoke. Because someone who doesn't smoke doesn't fucking smoke. They don't sit here and think all day, oh, I need to go to the store. Let me go to the store. Let me go to, and fight with themselves about going to buy a pack of cigarettes, right? Then I changed my habits to support what a non-smoker would do. So I had a routine set up when I would smoke my cigarettes based off work schedules. Back then I was a waitress, so I would go early into work and smoke or sit at the smoking table. I don't even know if they have those anymore nowadays, because that's how long ago I quit. I don't think they have that, right? They don't even smoke in restaurants anymore. See, I don't even pay attention because I just don't smoke. It's not in my life. So back then they smoked in restaurants, and I would go sit at the smoking table and I would eat my dinner before my shift and smoke my cigarettes, right? I had like this routine. I never smoked around my son. I didn't smoke in my car or in my house. So I would go outside. Like, I had certain points in the day when I was home with him, or when my husband, when I was married at that time, would come home, and I would go outside and I would get on the phone and I would smoke cigarettes. I had like this whole schedule, right? As most smokers do. So what I did was, at any of those time points, I just replaced the behavior with a different behavior. So I stopped going to work early, and I didn't sit at the smoking table anymore. And instead I ate dinner at home. After several months of that, it was easy for me. If I did want to go eat at work before I started my shift, then I would sit at the non-smoking table, because I'd already not smoked for several months, and it was easy for me at that point. I did different things when I had those breaks during the day where I would go outside and smoke. Instead of doing that, I would go outside and walk, and I think back then it was like headphones or my CD. I would listen to that shit, right? So old, dating myself here. Walking around. Like, I just changed my habits at the time that I was actually smoking, and I created a new healthy habit at that time, because my body had been conditioned and programmed to go outside and do this at this time. So I would do something different. And I never smoked again. I haven't smoked since fucking 1998, because I changed my self-identity. So this is what we do, right? I'm sitting here now changing my self-identity, and you'll see what that turns into. But really look at yourself, like, who do you want to be in all areas of your life, instead of being someone who's trying to become it, or being someone who's trying to quit it or not do these things anymore? Well, what would be the version of you if you didn't do these habits you didn't want to do, right? If you're someone who wanted to start a business online, but you're scared of showing your face, there's a lot of you out there that are terrified of that. And then you sit and you freeze because you're the old version of you. Well, if you were someone who had that business and it was successful, wouldn't you not be scared anymore, because you've already put up the videos a million times? So it's like normal and natural for you now. You're super comfortable on camera. So obviously you would not feel that immediately. But then if you're changing your self-identity in that aspect, you would be like, oh, I'm someone who this is easy for? What if it was easy for me to be on camera? What if I just did 2 videos a day? What if I got really comfortable being on camera because that's what somebody is and does when they're on camera after a while, right? And then you do the actions that support it. Then you're it. You're becoming that person, and then you are that fucking person. Literally, when you think the thought and then you do the action that matches it, you are that person right in that fucking moment. And then you rinse and repeat it, and then it's programmed in you, and that's who the fuck you are. Same thing in love. Those of you say, well, how do I feel love? Well, if you were someone who cared about themselves and didn't date toxic people and unhealed people and had really good high values and standards for yourself in love, where you didn't settle, because that's what someone who does with a high self-concept. What if you were someone who wasn't attracted to toxicity or attracted to people who are, not available emotionally and just all that yucky shit, right? So then who would you be? Oh, well, I wouldn't settle. Oh, I wouldn't date someone that is showing me all the fucking signs immediately that they're not healed, right? Like, I wouldn't even be attracted to that. So then who would I be? Oh, I'm only attracted to this type of person, right? I only manifest in this type of person. I never fucking have to settle, right? Do you see, like, you choose the self-identity of the person you want to be until it programs and it's actually you, and then you create the new habits that support that new version of you. So I hope you found this video helpful, a little longer than I've done in a while, but I love you guys. If you just keep changing your self-identity, it's so much easier to change the story around you. So I love you guys, and I hope to see you in my new coaching group. Bye.